to you by Safety FM.
It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know this. I know it. We know it. We kind of hang out and kind of laugh about the whole thing as we do our gig. That is for sure. Anyways, how are you? Today is Thursday, May the 11th of 2023, day 131st of the year. And let's see, only 234 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio Big.
Oh, you know, that radio big thing that we do, you know, that big radio big, you know, the combination of things that happens that you can hear on iHeartRadio, that you can take a listen to on TuneIn, that you can take an established radio big app, the Safety FM app, you know, all that kind of fun stuff that we can get into. So I will tell you the last 24 hours since we last hung out yesterday, very interesting times. Some events that are coming up that I'm very excited about that we're going to talk about here in the very near future as things get ironed out. And I mean, things coming from far distances that I did not think that we would be doing, but hey, they are going down, and I mean in a good way. So don't take it the wrongo-ongo way. That is for sure. So let's talk real quick. Was told by a couple of people that if they were on the video side yesterday, not too good of an experience. Apparently there was some audio droppage. So I want to give this info, and I know that it sounds kind of dickish when I say it, but that's why I always kind of emphasize the apps, because we do the radio stuff first. Everything else kind of falls secondary, and I know that's a terrible thing to say, but this is kind of the reality, because we focus on what is going on the radio, because you can take a look at what we're doing, but who the hell wants to take a look at me? I do have a face for radio. I don't have a doubt for that whatsoever. The voice for radio, that might be a different, a totally other conversation, but we can either leave that neither here nor there as we are talking. So if you want to interact with the show, simplest process in doing so, go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. They'll get everything moving and grooving for you, because that will put us into the system. I'm going to tell you, we're on the verge, yes, the verge of introducing something a little neato-ito that we'll talk about here for how you can interact with the radio station. Maybe I shouldn't even be talking about this yet, because we're kind of a few weeks out in regards of doing that. Of course, you have the social media platforms that we're kind of always delayed on in regards of doing that stuff, so just keep that in mind as we are talking. And then the other side of the equation Just the other side of the Quajon is that we'll get to hang out and do all the stuff. If you want to go to the visual radio side, which is radiobig.fm and safetyfm.com. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we start talking about what the hell's coming up on this thing today, because that's what we're going to do.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So what's on tap? So let's see. Burger King has entered into the Spider-Verse. We'll talk about that. And Utah mom is accused of murdering her husband after writing a book about missing him. Yeah. I'm not joking. Shakira fans don't want her to date Tom Cruise, and Imagine Dragons performed at the Striking Writers. We'll talk about that. Beetlejuice 2 gets a premiere date, and familiar faces will appear on season 2 and Just Like That. And we'll talk about Royals. We'll talk about things that are going on inside of the world of news. We'll talk about the things that are going on inside of the world of entertainment. And, of course, our favorite portion, we'll talk about shit that's going on inside of the world of safety. Listen, I did not realize that people are going to be up in arms yesterday about the singer-songwriter bullshit that's going on next month. But listen, I do not book events in regards of what is going on in other people's events. The events that I book, you kind of know them because we talk about them. The events that I book that are open to the public, we discuss. And yeah, listen, I'm not dogging the guy in regards of going out there and helping some safety professionals. But it's just weird that you're going to a event that's about safety and you have a singer-songwriter that's doing the event as the keynote. Tell me when I'm wrong. I mean, if you don't agree with it, it's perfectly fine. What pisses me off about the whole thing is you don't find this out until after you've booked your tickets. Because can you imagine all of a sudden you're buying tickets to a boxing match? We'll use that as an example. And you don't know what the main event is. Are you going to go? Are you going to buy tickets? No, that's not the norm. These things are set up because they're there to assist. And I know that a lot of people look at the networking and all this other stuff, and that's great. That is fantastico. But let's just be realistic. And, I'm not trying to poo-pooing in somebody's bowl of Cheerios. That's for sure. But just stuff to think about. I don't know. Anyways, let's piss some more people off because that's just kind of what we do around here, because it's an easy thing because people sometimes don't like the reality of certain things that are going on. Whatever, just kind of occurs. But with that being said, we do have some professional broadcasters that are waiting in the wing to talk about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news, because that's what they do around here. Also, on the other side of the equation is, we'll do all of the stuff that we do. And let's focus on that. We'll focus on what we're doing and let other people focus on what they're doing. And I reach out and talk about things where other people start telling me, hey, did you see this? This is what's going on. I'm not shy when it comes to talking about these things. If I don't agree with something, I'm going to talk about it. If I agree with something, I'm going to talk about it. And I feel that you should be comfortable enough as well that if there's something that you disagree with that's going on this little industry, or just in general, let's just be realistic, that you should be able to talk about it, because people should feel comfortable in having these discussions. I agree, I don't disagree. And here's the best way if you don't agree with something. You know that hard-earned dollar that you get? That shows most people if you want to proceed with what the hell they're doing. You'd be amazed on how much things change because of people putting value with money. Seriously. I know, kind of a weird thing to talk about, only 9 minutes in, but shit, these things have to be addressed. Kind of the way that it goes. Why don't we do this? Why don't we get some newscasters in here? Because I think that's going to be a little bit more exciting. Remember, this is hour one of 3 hours. We only do the first hour as the Rated R Safety Show. Hour 2 and 3 is the Jay Allen the Morning Show, even though it's all really kind of the Jay Allen the Morning Show thing, but we kind of do the tagging. By the way, new shows being worked on right now. Oh my. The teaser's out there. Matter of fact, the teaser's out there. I don't even know if I should be talking about this because I know we put the teaser up yesterday. Matter of fact, I'll let you look on your own. Maybe that's the better way to do this. Let's just go ahead and get you into the news because there's just so much going on, such little time. Just kind of the way that it is. Here we go.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Former President Trump is reiterating his claim that the 2020 election was rigged. He made the comments during Wednesday's CNN town hall event in New Hampshire. Trump noted that he would suspend talk of election fraud during his run for president in 2024 unless he sees election fraud. The event came one day after he was found liable in a civil case for sexual abuse and defamation. Trump took questions from local Republicans and undeclared voters ahead of the 2024 GOP primary. Border towns are bracing for the end of Title 42 today. Immigrants say they're having a hard time with an app that helps them get an appointment to enter the U.S. legally.
I help people do their app, and they get an appointment like in 3 days. I'm like, what is it? I mean, I'm doing the same process. I just can't get an appointment.
The COVID-era policy has been used to quickly turn back migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border. Migrants are massing at the U.S.-Mexico border now, trying to cross into the country. The White House says the border is secure, but Republicans say the Biden administration has ignored this growing problem for 2 years. California Senator Dianne Feinstein is back on Capitol Hill. Brian Shook fills us in.
The Democrat returned Wednesday after a months-long absence due to a bout with shingles. She told reporters she feels much better, but her doctors told her to work a lighter schedule as she continues to deal with complications as part of her recovery. She missed votes early Wednesday, and questions remained about whether she'll appear Thursday for the Senate Judiciary Committee's markup of nominations. I'm Brian Shook.
And former NFL receiver Henry Ruggs III formally pleaded guilty on Wednesday to a deadly car crash in 2021. Police say Ruggs was speeding over 150 miles per hour on a residential road in Nevada when he crashed into another car, killing the driver and their dog. Ruggs now faces 3 years to 10 years in a Nevada state prison. He's set to be sentenced in August. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. Finance chiefs from the world's richest G7 countries are aiming to boost confidence in the global financial system as they meet for 3 days of talks in Japan. There are calls for an immediate end to violence in Myanmar to try and create a window of dialogue and allow humanitarian aid to be delivered. And Australia's Trade Minister is in Beijing seeking to repair strained economic ties with China.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
President Biden is warning Americans of what's at stake if Congress fails to pass a debt ceiling hike and the U.S. defaults on its debt.
8 million Americans would lose their jobs, including 400,000 New Yorkers alone. Our economy would fall into recession, and our international reputation would be damaged in the extreme.
While speaking at a community college in New York yesterday, the president accused what he called extreme MAGA Republicans of holding the economy hostage, as Republicans are demanding deep spending cuts in exchange for their votes to increase the nation's borrowing limit. Congress needs to raise the debt limit before June. Inflation is still on the march, but there are signs it's slowing. The latest Consumer Price Index report, which measures the cost of a broad number of goods and services, shows prices in the U.S. rising slightly in April. New data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows a less than 5% increase in the closely watched CPI over the past year. Elon Musk is inviting Don Lemon to launch a new show on Twitter. Trey Thomas reports.
The former CNN anchor was fired from the network last month. Early Wednesday, Musk responded to a tweet from Lemon announcing his firing with the offer, claiming the audience is much bigger. Tucker Carlson, who was also ousted from Fox News, announced Tuesday that he's planning to launch a new version of his show on Twitter. I'm Trey Thomas.
A shooting in Colorado has left 5 people injured and 1 in critical condition. Police say 4 men and 1 woman were injured in a Wednesday night shooting at an apartment complex in a Denver neighborhood. No arrests have been made and further details have not been released. KDVR in Denver says a home surveillance video near the shooting scene recorded over 20 gunshots. And Bo knows baseball and Bo knows football, but Bo doesn't know how to get rid of the hiccups. Former NFL and Major League Baseball star Bo Jackson revealed on Wednesday that he's had a case of the hiccups for nearly a year. Jackson said he's tried many conventional and unconventional remedies, including sniffing the rear end of a porcupine. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick and proud aunt. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing. But not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. 1 in 6. That little girl sitting alone at the playground, she can't play like the other kids. She doesn't have the energy because she's hungry. School lunch will be her only meal today. It breaks my heart that this is the reality in our country, but it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. This food is then provided to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about using your imagination, learning, and having fun. These children shouldn't have to miss out on simply being a kid because they're hungry. To find out how you can help end childhood hunger in your community, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yeah, it goes something like that, that's for sure. 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Yes, it does sound like a Thursday to me. And the next person that tells me Friday, Junior. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. But you get the point. So let's talk about it real quick. Disney reported that despite losing 4 million customers on their streaming service, they closed their operating deficit thanks to increased subscription prices. Great price hikes. Overall, the company was buoyed by increasing revenue at their theme parks. Disney is also in the midst of a massive layoffs, which has helped bolster the bottom line. By the end of the major restructuring effort, a total of 7,000 people are expected to be reduced from their employee headcounts. This is according to CNBC. This is where things get weird. And listen, don't get me wrong. I like Disney as much as the next person. But shit, you're losing 7,000 people because you want to make sure that you have a ledger, a good ledger on what the hell's going on. It's 7,000 people that we're talking about here. Alleged. Okay, let's throw that out there. Allegedly. 7,000 people allegedly. I mean, that's a lot of people to lose in that particular regard. Just think about that from that fashion. Take a listen to this one. The 550 Army soldiers deployed to southern border amid the expiration of the Title 42 will perform data entry and warehouse support, according to CNN. The Pentagon makes it clear that they will not be conducting any type of law enforcement activities. On Monday and Tuesday this week, more than 10,000 migrants crossed the border each day, and they were processed by customs and border officials. This is according to CNN. So what do you think about this whole thing? Because it's going to get more and more interesting, especially today. Yes, today. It'll be intriguing to hear what the hell goes down. There is no doubt about that. So we'll take a look. And listen, I know that there's a song out there by Switchfoot about not having borders, and boy, does that song normally stir up some controversy when we play it over here on Radio Big. But hey, listen, we do play it. I can't deny that as we are talking. Anyways, take a listen to this. A Utah mom who wrote a children's book about grief about her husband died last year is now accused of murdering him. 33-year-old Corey Richards was arrested this week of charges of aggravated murder and 3 counts of possession of controlled substances with the intent to distribute. Prosecutors believe that Corey poisoned her husband, Eric Richin, with a lethal dose of fentanyl, which she put into his Moscow Mule. She claims to have found her husband unresponsive in their bedroom. An autopsy reveals that he had 5 times the lethal dosage of fentanyl in his system. It was noted that fentanyl was illicit and not a medical grade, so there you go. Her book titled Are You With Me, which she dedicated to her amazing husband, has been removed from shelves, according to NBC News. So let's talk about that for just one brief moment. You allegedly, and we are using the word allegedly, murdered your husband with a lethal dose of fentanyl and then wrote a children's book about the loss. I mean, it gets weird. It gets weird quick. Anytime that you talk about anything like that, about somebody murdering anyone, that is weird, regardless on how you look at it. But you wrote a children's book that talked about the whole thing.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, Burger King is releasing a new red bun Whopper topped with black sesame seeds in honor of Marvel flick Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. According to the food chain, the Spider-Verse Whopper is flame grilled and topped with melted Swiss cheese, along with the traditional toppings, including tomatoes, lettuce, mayo, ketchup, pickles, and onions. There is an option to add bacon. So there you go. And for dessert, BK is offering Spider-Verse Sundae, which is ice cream topped with black and red chocolate candies. The movie-themed meal will be released from May the 15th through June the 21st. The movie hits the theaters on June the 2nd. Let's just be realistic. I don't know when's the last time you went to a fast food joint, but the level of getting that food right, I just can't imagine. Can you imagine what a red bun is going to look like? And I want to know if we're talking blood red here, because I have a lot of questions. And how are you going to know if the order screwed up? I mean, I have a friend that when he goes through the drive-thru, opposed to him ordering anything, he just tells them, surprise me. I guess whatever works. Anyways, a Missouri man says that American Airlines lost their his specially tailored prosthetic limb and is now refusing to cover the cost for a new one. Michael Williams says that he handed the airline worker a suitcase marked fragile that contained his leg before boarding the flight, but when he ultimately arrived to St. Louis, it was missing. Williams says that he followed the airline's reimbursement protocol for the lost items, but He's going. He's got all he got was $600 for the check for his lost clothing. And after continuing to ask for an update about his legs, Williams said that he was told at American Airlines that he didn't have enough proof or evidence for the leg. He has hired a lawyer to fight the airline. So hold on. I need to understand this. The dude's missing a leg that he allegedly had inside of his suitcase. He told the airline, and the airline's like, you don't have enough proof? That's an interesting one. Like, what am I supposed to do? Take pictures of what I am putting inside of my bag before you take off in case you don't lose it? I mean, I will tell you, I'm super paranoid half the time when I'm traveling in regards if I had to check a bag or not. Because can you imagine having to go a long distance and all of a sudden losing the stuff? Doesn't sound like a fun time. Anyways, with that being said, let's bring some John Smalls inside of our life right now in regards to what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, May 11th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets tried to move higher Wednesday following the CPI report. While the headline figure fell a tenth compared to last year and came in below consensus, the rest of the data set overshadows the decline. Headline inflation accelerated compared to last month, and the core figures were as expected and unchanged from last month. This leaves inflation running at more than double the Fed's target and does not allow them to ease back on interest rates. The takeaway for the market is that interest rates may not rise anymore, but they're not going down anytime soon. The news helped lift tech stocks dependent on debt to fuel growth. The rally lifted the Nasdaq Composite by more than 1% to the highest level in 6 months and has the index on track to extend the gains. The next target for the tech-savvy index is near 13,000, and it will be a tough line to cross. The S&P 500 is still below critical resistance at 4150. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information of what the hell is going on. Let me give you a little bit of a breakdown on what I was able to locate. So let's go through that. The Dow lost about 73 points to close at 33,487 on Wednesday. The S&P ticked up 10 points to close at 4,129. And the Nasdaq lost about 77 points to close at 12,179. West Texas Intermediate closed at $72 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $76. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.53 on Wednesday. Bitcoin was up a bit on Wednesday, trading just over $27,700. There was more than 2,450 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday, and more than 176 cancellations. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $99 million jackpot or a $52.1 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, I guess it is time to do so, because, hey, what would not be a better time to do that than right now? So there you go. Anyways, take a listen to this. The city of Denver is seeing an increase in migrants arriving because of COVID era Title 42 policy ending. Michaeli Ortega, the Denver officer of emergency management of the humanitarian crisis, is already overwhelming the city. Take a listen to this.
Currently, we're seeing upward of 300 people a day that are coming into the city, and that is a lot of different resource needs that the office has been working to address.
Denver is activating the emergency operations center, activated the emergency operations center yesterday because the situation is rapidly becoming unmanageable. Officials closed the center just 2 months ago, and 4 city shelters are at capacity, and the other ones are filling up. Denver says that it spent upward of $50 million for this humanitarian crisis, and the city has only received about $2 million from the state. Mayor Michael Hancock will hold the media briefing today at 11 a.m. to discuss the situation. Miguel Ortega from the Denver official officer of emergency management says the officials are calling the federal government to step it up.
It's unclear if we'll be able to obtain reimbursement for all of the money that we've put into this effort.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine there's going to be all kinds of questions that are going to come up about this. There is no doubt about that because, hey, listen, I'm sure that all these areas are going to be seriously affected about what is going on. But we had to take a look at what is going on, home of the brave, land of the free, all that kind of fun stuff as we are talking. Take a listen to this one real quick, if you don't mind. Former President Barack Obama Foundation is launching a new initiative in Chicago. The former president was in town yesterday to discuss the Obama Foundation My Brother's Keeper Alliance Impact in Action program, which is designed to support young men of color across the country.
Within years, you can start seeing reductions in violence. You can start seeing higher graduation rates. You can start seeing young people getting jobs.
My Brother's Keepers Alliance Impact in Action is the national program that focuses on solutions to help economic gaps that faces by many minority boys across the country. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that for sure. Anyways, bail is denied for 4 teens charged with a deadly shooting of Chicago police officer Arena Preston. Prosecutors say that the youngest suspect called a friend to brag about the officer's killing.
In that call, defendant Frazier asked the friend if he had seen the news about the police officer being killed. Defendant Frazier said that it was his work.
Murder charges have been filed against 19-year-old Trevor Breland, 19-year-old Joseph Brooks, 18-year-old Jaquan Bacan, and 16-year-old Jalen Frazier. Preston was shot and killed after returning home from a shift on this past Saturday. Prosecutors say that the 14-year-old suspect went on a violent crime spree before shooting a 24-year-old officer. This including robbing people and stealing a car. So there you go. Some interesting stuff going on there for sure. The Texas man who shot and killed a Black Lives Matter protester back in 2020 is going to jail for 25 years. Mark Mayfield has more info.
Daniel Perry was a rideshare driver at the time and unknowingly turned into the protest as it made its way through downtown Austin. His attorneys claimed that the victim was waving an assault rifle and Perry was scared for his life. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has vowed to push for a pardon of Perry's sentence. I'm Mark Mayfield.
So there you go. Some interesting times coming out of Texas. Boy, Texas is the reason, man. You know what I'm saying there. Anyways, the state of California will pay $24 million to settle a lawsuit after a man died in the custody of California Highway Patrol officer in Altadena, just north of L.A. The Edwards Bronson family attorney Eric Dublin says this is a historic moment in California history.
A few months before George Floyd died, Edward Bronstein said the same words, "I can't breathe," and they fell on deaf ears. Those words became a catchphrase to a movement in America, and I'm very proud that California is following suit.
The 38-year-old Edward Bronson died on March of 2020 after a DUI traffic stop. The man could be heard on the video saying, "I can't breathe," as he is being subdued by CHP officers. This is the second largest civil rights settlement of its kind awarded in the U.S. The largest settlement was $27 million that was paid to the family of George Floyd after his death at the hands of the police in Minneapolis, also in 2020. Edward Bronstein's partner, Andrea, says that the settlement doesn't mean anything to her.
Justice will be served when the people responsible for taking his life are held accountable for what they did.
I mean, I never understand that. Somebody dies, something happens along those lines. Money is not going to settle everything. Let's just be realistic on how that works. There is no doubt about that. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and do that thing that we do.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, main story time, because why would you not want to do a story time at this particular portion of the show? You know, we're a little bit over the middle, somewhere kind of, we're over the hill, and, you know, we're doing the downward spiral. Is the way that I like to talk about it as we do our thing. Listen, I understand that sometimes in our industry we get to take a look and do some very weird things. But man, oh man, boy, do we focus on some really weird ass shit when we're starting to do the things that we do. I mean, let's just be realistic. I never understand if we are doing stuff to monitor, or if we're doing stuff to gauge, or we're doing management in regards of our systems. And I have such a hard time sometimes with these conversations because it drives me bonkers. Yes, I did say bonkers on what is occurring. And what am I talking about here today? Well, I would like to figure that out too, because most of the times I don't even understand what I'm talking about. But let's talk about this. Why is it that we are constantly talking about the things that did not happen inside of our workplace? Because imagine if you started listing injuries against things that did not happen inside of your org. Could you imagine how many things you would have to list out on what didn't happen? No one fell today on the, from the second floor or slid on oil there would be so many different things. There was no bomb that went off inside of our organization. There would be so many different things to talk about what is not going on. And then we have the other extreme of the equation where we're constantly managing and taking a look and trying to figure out every single aspect that is going on inside of our organization. Like, we have to look at this to make sure that this is happening and that this did not occur and all of this. And I don't get it. Is that really the process of what we need to be doing? The best way that I can take a look at some of this stuff is like this. You know that when you take a car trip, the first thing that most people do, especially if it's a long car trip, is you kind of take a look and monitor on how much fuel you have inside of your car before you do this trip. So the gauge kind of tells you okay, this is what I got. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is how far I have an idea that I can go. So we have this habit that we do that, opposed to looking at the gauge, it's very similar for us to stop at every damn gas station along the way of our road, though on the way of our trip, because that's how we want to manage our system. Think about that for a moment. We're stopping at every gas station because we have to make sure, opposed to knowing that there is something already in our system, meaning the car here, that the gauge will tell us what is going on. It is taking a look at, okay, this is good, this is bad. Because when you have something kind of weird going on, you have to take a look at your risk and controls. Risk and controls. If your risks are high, your controls need to be high. If your risk is low, your controls need to be low. It's kind of the way that it goes. So you know that if you're driving a car and your fuel is getting lower, you're going to be paying more attention to where is the closest gas station. You're not going to be stopping at every gas station if you have full fuel. I mean, it's just one of those weird things. It's just not going to happen. But we want to manage our systems in that capacity. We want to take a look at it from that particular aspect where we go, okay, we're going to stop at every gas station. We have to make sure that we're full, we're topped off. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, I'll put it to you this way. What happens when you have a gas station across from a gas station? Why is it that we don't want to use processes that we have inside of our systems to gauge what is going on? And I guess the best answer is this. When you have managers and executives inside of your system that are so accustomed to trying to put things in place for bad things won't happen, that is the way that they manage. It's almost a shift in that mindset in regards of changing on how people look at things. Nobody wants anything bad to happen. I get it. It makes sense. But risk and control play such a huge portion there. High risk, high control. Low risk, low controls. Doesn't that make sense? Think about that. If you can have that conversation with the executives inside of your locations, inside of your organization, how would that look going forward? Seriously.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking truth.
You know, I always get worried about the chair dancing that occurs behind the scenes here. Oh, yes, this is still the Rated R Safety Show. 43 minutes in. Yeah, this one right here is by Step Rockets. To My Grave, baby. Yeah, we try to do a little bit of everything music-wise here. There is no doubt about it. So, yeah, you can take a little streamer action. YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Music, Thanks to Step Rockets for allowing us to play this here. I guess one episode we should probably just focus on, music that's out there. On just like the newer bands and newer songs that we play on this seg. Because we play a lot of new music. And I'm not even talking about, like the secular stuff. It's a little bit more popular. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah, thanks for still hanging out here. So we are still moving and grooving. I guess I need to bring it down because if not, I will continue. I will continue listening to la música because that's what I do. I'm just in love with music. It's always been there for me is the way that I look at it. So I can never get away from it. I mean, I've always been able to turn to music. I am a music aficionado, have been obsessed with it for as long as I can remember. I have a hard time understanding people that don't like listening to music. It's like, what do you mean? Like, that's all what I do almost every single day, but that's neither here nor there. So let's talk real quick. Let's talk about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. Yes, I have to tell you about this organization because it's such a great organization. They are there to help you find help. Yep, that's their point. That is exactly what they're there. If you need immediate help, there are all kinds of information that you can look at that they have on their website that can help you 24 hours a day with all the different helplines that are out there. No joke about this as we are talking. This is anything from the crisis text line, which you can text TWLOHA to 741-741 if you're in Canada or the U.S. If you need the crisis line and you are in the UK, you type or text the word shout to 85258. If you're in Ireland, you text the word home to 50808. And if you need the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, you can text the word call to 988. If you need somebody to contact in the Trans Lifeline, that's 877-565-8860. That's 877-565-8860. Or the Trevor Project, you can actually do that at 866-488-7386. That's 866-488-7386. There's all kinds of resources that are available out there. Listen, I'm gonna explain this, and I'm gonna say this the best way possible. You know that when you look at somebody who has a brain injury, when you look at somebody who has cancer, you can't tell those things. And that's the same thing that occurs with somebody who is having issues mentally, that is struggling with depression. Seriously. You can't tell by looking at them. And you never will be able to tell by looking at them. So let's not have so much judgment towards this subject, and let's have open conversations and understand that in life there is a portion that most people will go through that they are depressed at some point. And the other thing to that whole equation is that it's an ongoing thing. And it's not easy. And we should be able to talk about this. So to find out more information, TWLOHA.com. Click on the section that says Find Help. So there you go. Anyways, 48 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's talk real quick because we have very limited time left in regards of what is going on. So let's get into it. Let's talk real quick about emojis in motion. Have you received the text containing the upside down smiley face and wondering what the heck that's supposed to mean? Well, me too, just in case if you did not know. That's a strange one, but the women tipping hand emoji is among the most confounding for people, confusing as well, I would imagine, according to a study which also put money with wings and nail polish icons on the top of the list. A survey by Preply, the language learning app, has asked people what they believe that the woman tipping her hand meant. 35% of respondents checked the box next to feeling sassy, while 31% took to mean that I have a suggestion, and 20% said feeling sarcastic. The official Emojipedia, that's a thing, website reveals that the symbol is commonly used to express sassiness or sarcasm. As the upside down smiley face, it can mean sarcasm, passive aggression, irony, or even goofiness or flirting. Hold on, I need to give you an emoji to let you know that I'm flirting? Sounds like a weird one. Well, that's why it's so weird when you receive it from the boss. Yeah, from the boss. When the boss sends you that, you probably have some questions. And gee, no wonder some emojis can cause uncomfortable situations. Am I right or am I right? So there you go. Some things to think about. Anyway, so you know that artificial intelligence seems to be all the rage as of late of people wanting to talk about it, use it, and doing all that kind of stuff. Well, Wendy's restaurants will begin testing an artificial intelligence-powered chat box next month, which will take drive-through orders, becoming the latest fast food chain to employ technology. The system's powered by Google Cloud AI software will, according to the company, be as natural as talking to an employee, and will not only be able to understand speech, it will also have the ability to answer frequently asked questions. Wendy is one of the several restaurants incorporating AI and automation while dealing with labor shortages. Additionally, drive-thrus have surged in popularity during the pandemic, with chains saying that 80% of its customers prefer ordering that way. We're pretty sure that the guy who invented AI never imagined that it would be used to ask, what would you like with your fries? What would you like with your fries with that? So there you go. Something to think about. You may also know this, but just in case you've ever had the unfortunate incident with your phone, a water eject function is available with the model of running iOS 12 or newer. The water ejection function is designed to quickly remove water from your iPhone speaker to prevent it causing long-term damage. When activated, Siri will automatically play a tone designed to push water out from the speaker. The sound vibration created by the tone can help dislodge water and that may be trapped inside of the speaker grill. To have it on standby, simply open the iPhone web browser and download the water eject shortcut from the shortcut gallery, or you just say Siri to do it for you. After all, it's her life we're saving here. So just so you know, I knew that the watch did it. I was not 100% aware that you could do it with the phone. Kind of interesting. I mean, have you had your phone have a water bath yet? I'm just asking. I know these things happen. I'm not trying to be a jerky-erky here. So just letting you know that. Anyways, 51 minutes past top of the hour. I think I need some motivation in my life. So let's bring some John Small in, from the John and Heidi show, and let him talk a little bit about what's going on. And you can catch John and Heidi here on Radio Big in the afternoon starting at 2 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, 2 o'clock Eastern time, and they'll carry you through the afternoon drive. Let's get that started.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Wendy. Henry David Thoreau said, "Most men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them." I love this quote. We've talked about this before. There are a few other similar quotes, and they all point to the same thing. We need to make sure we live life while we can. If you have a song in your heart, sing it. If you have a book in your mind, write it. If you have an idea for a movie, find a way to get it made. Don't wait until you're at the end of your life before you do something you should be remembered for. Don't let that thing be your secret. Share your song with the world. We need more beautiful music. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. We all heard that brain shrinks with age, particularly the hippocampus and the frontal lobe. For ameliorating at least some of these changes, exercise plays a huge role. When you exercise, profound molecular changes occur, inducing numerous beneficial cytokines and other factors that support immune health. One acute bout of aerobic exercise induced extensive changes in almost 10,000 molecules involved in energy metabolism, oxidative stress, inflammation, tissue repair, and growth factor response. Exercise is one of the enduring pillars of good health, with many benefits including powerful mood-enhancing to immune-boosting effects. When we exercise, the brain structure changes to accommodate. That is especially true in motor regions and areas that need more oxygen. For more information on wellness, check out alessamorgan.com.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. So listen real quick as we are having the discussion-o. Yes. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world. If you have not heard about this, if you want to come and hang out in Orlando, boom, Conklin Conference coming in Orlando, Florida, September the 27th through the 29th of this lovely year. You can come hang out with Jen Long, Bob Edwards, Mark Yesson, of course, Todd Conklin, and I will be hosting the event. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io. That will get you covered in what the hell is going on inside of the world-o over there. So would love to see you there. We'll talk about human and organizational performance, learning teams, how to own it, and stories from the field on the things that are going on. We'd love to see you in Orlando in the glorious month of September, hanging out, doing the things that we get to do. No doubt about that. More information, safetyfm.io. Seems like a lot of people are liking these Conklin conferences. The one in Santa Fe sold out relatively quick. As we were doing getting ready for it, we actually ended up having to get a larger space when it was all said and done, because we didn't expect that many people to want to be there. I mean, and all at one time. At least that was my standpoint. But there you go. Really appreciate the people that did come out and hang out. Anyway, so let's do this real quick. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, because hey, why would we not talk about this? So back in 2019, actress Alyssa Milano urges women to go on a sex strike after Georgia passes a new abortion law. Critics were quick to call her out, stating that strikes assumes that men are the only ones who enjoy sex. Milano did some supporters for the movement throughout the ones that she intended. Those opposed to the abortion commended the strike, though they were very different reasons. So there you go. That happened back in 2019. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about some of those. Lana Condor, 26. Prince Royce, 34. Cam Newton turns 34. Black China turns 35. Ace Hood, 35. Brad Barchard turns 35. Andres Iniesta, 39. Bobby Roode, 46. Pam Ferris, 75. So there you go. If you are looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's National Technology Day, and who does not enjoy that? National Eat What You Want Day. I think some of us might actually celebrate that too frequently, and don't get that wrong. I'm included into that mix. National Twilight Zone Day and World Ego Awareness Day. So hold on. If you know somebody who's an egomaniac, are you supposed to contact them and say, hey, listen, I know that you're big into ego today? I mean, I don't know. Sounds like a weird one to me in that particular regards. Anyways, and some other stuff, if you need a random joke for today, I definitely have one of those for you. So why would I not give you that? Repeat after me. We are all individuals. Do you get it? I hope you do. What else? If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What still makes you cringe when you think about it? Think about it. What makes you cringe when you think about it? Question. For the water cooler, 92% of us have at least one of these in our fridge right now. What is it? It's cheese. Yeah, it's cheese. And I'm not talking about like the weird smile type of thing. I'm just talking about cheese in general. So there you go. Sal, if you want to stay here and hang out, you're more than welcome on doing that. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm doing the music and entertainment stuff for the next couple hours or so. So you can come over to our app. You can go to iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, the different ways that you can take the streamer. Or you can take a listen to us here on Safety FM and take a listen to Sheldon Primus as he takes on the world of safety consultant. And I will tell you, if you are interested in becoming a safety consultant, he's your guy. There is no doubt about it. he can take you down a path that you did not expect and really give you some guidance on what to do there. Love that guy. I really do. I'm not saying that just to say it. I really do love that guy. So there you go. Anyway, that's going to end our time together. I do appreciate everything that you do and taking a listen to what the hell we have going on. There is no doubt about that. You are the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Don't let the memories of your past limit the potential of your future. Seriously. Think about that one. It will take you places. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
Hopefully you know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. Seriously.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.